A very good morning to everyone present here. Distinguished chief guest this day, Shri O.P.Rawat, Secretary, Department of Public Enterprise, Government of India. Respected Padma Vibhushan Professor P. Rama, President, Board of Governors, IPE. Esteemed invitees from government departments, chief managing directors from PSEs, representatives from corporate houses, research institutions, universities, sponsors, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the director and the entire fraternity of the Institute of Public Enterprise, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to this Golden Jubilee lecture of the Institute on 21st Century Challenges to Public Enterprises in India. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is an extremely special day at the Institute for some reasons. One, of course, this is the Golden Jubilee lecture and certainly signifies a milestone in any institution's history. Secondly, the significance lies in the importance of the topic, that is on challenges to public enterprises in India, which is the spirit and the specialty of the Institute. And thirdly, and most importantly, this is delivered by none other than the Secretary to the Government of India, Department of Public Enterprises, the personality at the helm of affairs, our esteemed guest this day, Shri O.P.Rawat, Secretary, DPE. I take this very special occasion to welcome all of you once again to this Golden Jubilee lecture. And on this note, I invite Professor R.K. Mishra, Director, Institute of Public Enterprise, to the dais. I request Dr. Lakshmi to present a bouquet to our director. And may I take this opportunity to welcome Padma Vibhushan Professor P. Rama, President, Board of Governors, IPE, to the dais. I request Dr. Sheetal to welcome the President with a bouquet. Padma Vibhushan Professor P. Rama is the President, Board of Governors and the Chairman of the Executive Committee of IPE. He has served at the IISc Bangalore as Professor at BHU and as Director of Defense Metallurgical Research. Definitely, I should say it is our honor to have your presence at this Golden Jubilee lecture this day, and thank you so much for that. And now may I take this momentous occasion to invite our esteemed chief guest, Shri O.P.Rawat, Secretary, Department of Public Enterprise, to the dais. I request Dr. Sai Shailaja to welcome our esteemed chief guest with a bouquet. Shri O.P.Rawat, presently posted as the Secretary to Government of India in the Department of Public Enterprises, is a member of the Indian Administrative Service 1977 batch. Before joining as Secretary DPE, he was Vice Chairman of Narmada Valley Development Authority and ex officio Additional Chief Secretary, Government of Madhya Pradesh, Narmada Valley Development Department since September 2009. He has held important positions in key ministries under State Government of Madhya Pradesh. He was Principal Secretary in Departments of SC, ST Welfare, Industries and Employment, Information and Public Relations, and also as Principal Secretary to the Chief Minister. He received Prime Minister's Award for Excellence in Public Administration on 21st April 2010 for the year 2008-9 for innovative implementation of the Scheduled Tribes and other traditional forest dwellers in recognition of Forest Rights Act 2006. He was responsible for formulating the current state excise policy of Madhya Pradesh in the year 2004 when he was the Excise Commissioner. He also served as Secretary to Government of Madhya Pradesh in Departments of Agriculture and Cooperation. As Registrar of Cooperative Societies, he was responsible for bifurcating more than 20 Apex societies like Apex Bank, Markfed, Housing Federation, Land Development Bank, Consumer Federation, Fisheries Federation, etc., in the context of the state's reorganization in the year 2000. He also worked as Commissioner of Women and Child Development. He had a 5-year tenure at Government of India during 1993 to 98 in the Ministry of Defense. At the district level, he was District Collector of Narsinghpur in 1983 to 86 and in Indore in 1986 to 88. He's done his Masters in Physics from BHU and Masters in Economics from the University of Wales, UK. And I must say it's quite a memorable moment today, and I welcome you again, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, we see the dignified dais here, and I request another round of applause for the dignitaries on the dais. Thanks very much. I now request Professor R.K. Mishra, Director IPE, to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Dr. Shri. Respected Professor Rama Garu, respected Shri, respected Mishra ji, CMD of the Cotton Corporation of India, respected Professor Lakshminarayan ji, my colleagues from the faculty, invitees, guests, friends from the media. I won't stand much longer between you and Professor Ramarao and Professor O.P.Rawat. Mr. O.P.Rawat, we have two distinguished personalities, not only of India but of the world with us, and I think it's the time to hear them, time to understand, time to get as much possible as we can from these two distinguished personalities of the world. I'll only say one thing about Professor Ramarao. He's redefining the scope of IPE. He's taking IPE to a new level. He's a motivating factor for the faculty, the staff, and the students of IPE. We always look to him to understand complex things, to understand how we should move in future, and how we should be adding value to ourselves, to the institution, and to the public enterprise world. When I say that, let me also say a few words about Rawat sir. During last 2 years, he has brought about a spate of new things, new innovations in public enterprise world. I was with Cabinet Secretary and also Secretary, Department of Performance Management, and they spoke in a meeting of 250 stalwarts that it is only during his regime that HPC, High Power Committee on Public Sector, has met twice. I think it was a very great compliment, and I could not resist. I tried to contact him then and there, but in Gita we have a term nispri, a person who is not taken by praise or who doesn't take anything as criticism. So he was just like that, but then it was a great matter of happiness for us to see that that kind of compliment is coming from the top-notch administrators in the country. Then he set up the Mankat Committee, and Mankat Committee has come out with new methods of evaluating the performance of public enterprises, and it's during his regime. Rungta Committee also has submitted the report, and Rungta Committee's report, once they are processed, and if only some of the recommendations are accepted, I'm sure they'll bring about radical change in the working of public sector enterprise in India. Dr. Shri was very right when she was hinting at the importance of the public enterprise. Whatever you say, in our country, public enterprises are going to remain. And always, I think, as anybody says, on a scale of 0 to 100, public sector has got to be there. Whether it is 10%, 20%, 40% is different thing. But then its presence has got to be there. And looking to what is happening in our country now, I'm sure public enterprise will get much greater recognition and importance. And therefore, I think understanding public sector, I think, is very, very crucial for teachers, for students, for public sector managers. Also, for one thing, that investments in these enterprises are about 30 lakh crores. If you take central public enterprises, we find total capital employed is about 17 lakh crores. If you take state enterprises, another 13 lakh crores. If you take departments, If you take pseudo public sector authorities like railways and post and telegraphs, it's about 40 lakh crores. I would say it's about 75% of the GDP. Now this is only the book value. If you take the market value, I am sure investments in public sector, they exceed the GDP of our country. What I'm trying to put before you is the fact that if you can leverage upon the performance of public sector enterprises, I'm sure that the rate of growth that we have, this rate of growth can change, and it will not only be the rate of growth, but economic development. We can bring about a radical change, a great change in the country. And public sector then really fulfill its role of social transformation in India, of economic transformation in India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And now for the awaited moment, I request our distinguished guest, Shri O.P.Rawat, Secretary, Department of Public Enterprise, to deliver his distinguished lecture on 21st century challenges of public enterprises in India.
A very good morning to all of you. Respected Professor P. Rama Rao, Professor R.K. Mishra, Dr. Shri, distinguished participants, CEOs from public sector undertakings, faculty members of IPE. In fact, I am seeing a number of students here and other distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud privilege to be here with you for delivering your Golden Jubilee lecture that is third in the series, I believe. The subject today is challenges of 21st century for the public sector enterprises. I would like to delve into recent past before I come to the challenges of 21st century. Go back to 90s. Columbia University commissioned a research on what is happening in industry and businesses. And the research findings brought out that out of 1,000 executives of financial institutions, industrial undertakings, and other businesses, 50% of them stated that they were profusely rewarded for doing something unethical at the behest of their superior. 30% of these respondents stated that they were penalized, harassed, because they refused to do something unethical at the behest of their superior. Any open-minded system of governance would have taken this finding seriously enough to take certain corrective measures and avoided whatever they had coming in 2007-8. Nothing was done. Whole global economy suffered because of financial crisis starting in US, where such an academic input was available that this is the state of affairs. Almost 80% people are saying something. Please look into this. Do something on this. But since nothing was done, this financial crisis took us over and affected global economy to an extent that recoveries are, though people say that visible, but I feel that very tepid. That brings us to the greatest challenge ever to public sector or any other business in 21st century is ethical conduct, which is very, very difficult to bring about by any system created by legislature or by executive instructions through regulations. And that is why Department of Public Enterprises defined corporate social responsibility as business's commitment to conduct their business, production of goods and services, in socially, economically, and environmentally sustainable manner that is ethical and transparent. And that we defined as evolving concept of corporate social responsibility. Only for certain visible things, DPE also said that as a part of, as a component of this CSR, public sector enterprises will set aside a specified percentage of their profit after tax for doing certain visible welfare measures, welfare things. But that was not all. That is, financial expenditure or welfare activity was not all, but CSR was brought center stage that you have to be conducting everything in a sustainable manner that is transparent and ethical. The reason was that if you go through the processes of lawmaking, processes of implementation of laws, everywhere, anywhere, not business alone, even your day-to-day life, you find that laws enacted lack comprehensiveness. And it is not true of our country, it's true of the countries all over the world. And not true of now. It has been since ages. And here I would just make a little digression to tell you about forest management. When there was no state, anybody born in the forest was the owner of that area where that person was born. Could take anything from the forest, fruit, fodder, wood, anything. After some time,